Chapter 22 of Just for Juniors, Little Talks to Little Folks by Reverend Gerald T. Brennan. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Maria Therese. Chapter 22 A Piece of String. Every boy and girl has a close friend. Sam Papa's friend was Jack Dale. Both boys were the same age. They were 11. They lived on the same street and were in the same grade in school. Sam and Jack played ball together. They skated, went to scout meetings and the movies together. People used to say that if you wanted to find Sam, all that you had to do was look for Jack. The two boys were always together. While Sam and Jack were very good friends, they were also very close rivals. In school, each boy tried to get higher marks than the other. In their games, one boy always tried to be better than the other. Sam and Jack had lots of fun trying to beat each other. They were regular fellows. When most of the boys in the neighborhood had kites, Sam and Jack decided to make kites too. Of course, Sam tried to make his kite better than Jack's, and Jack tried to make his better than Sam's. Well, the boys worked several hours making their kites. Finally, the kites were finished. They had two dandy kites, and both the boys were very proud. While the boys were admiring their kites, Sam had an idea. "Let's have a race," he said, "and see who has the better kite." Jack liked the idea. "All right," he answered. "How about Saturday?" Then and there the boys decided to have a kite race on Saturday afternoon. For the next 2 days the kite race was the talk of the neighborhood, and there was great excitement among the boys' friends. Some wanted Sam to win, others wanted Jack to win. Why, it seemed as though everybody was talking about the great race. Saturday was a grand day, and at 1 o'clock the boys, followed by their friends, started for the park. When they reached the park, Sam's friends lined up on the right side, and Jack's friends stood on the left. Before the race began, both sides yelled and cheered. Both sides wanted their favorite to win. Sam had a ball of string, and Jack had a ball of string too. In each ball there were 900 feet of string. Now that's a lot of string! As each boy fastened his string to his kite, he hoped to use every inch of it. At last the boys were ready. Sam and Jack shook hands while the crowd clapped and cheered. Then the boys held their kites in their right hands. They waited for the signal. "Ready, set, go!" yelled the crowd. At the word "go," a slight breeze lifted the kites from the boys' hands. The race was on, and the kites began to climb. Up, up, up! Higher and higher went the two kites as the boys let out more string. For a while the race was very close. Then Sam's kite took the lead. But Sam had the lead only a short time. Jack let out more string, and his kite began to climb. In a short time the two kites were together again. Up, up, up! Both kites climbed higher and higher, as both boys let out more string. After some time Sam and Jack reached the end of their string. The two kites could fly no higher, and both kites were the same distance from the ground. "It's a tie! It's a tie!" yelled the crowd. Sam smiled and seemed to be satisfied. But Jack was not happy. Jack didn't want the race to end in a tie. Jack wanted to win. He wanted to beat Sam. So what do you think Jack did? Thinking that his kite would go still higher, Jack let go of his string. Did Jack's kite go higher? No, it didn't. Just as soon as Jack let go, his kite came down and crashed to the ground. Yes, children, Sam Papa won the kite race. He won because he held on to his piece of string. I suppose you boys and girls think that the wind makes a kite stay up in the air. Well, that's not true. Of course, the wind helps, but a kite stays up in the air only when it is fastened to something. The kite is fastened to a string, and you must hold the string. Just as soon as you let go of your string, your kite will not stay up. It will come down with a bang. You know, I like to think that life is a contest, a contest in which we are all trying to win heaven. As you go through life, you'll find that you are very much like a kite. You do your best when you're fastened tightly to someone, and that someone is Christ. Prayer is the piece of string that fastens you to Christ. Just as long as you are tied to Christ by prayer, things will go well with you. Stop praying, and what happens? When you stop praying, you begin to crash, and your soul is in danger of falling into sin. Children, you must pray, and you must pray every day. You must keep yourselves tied to Christ at all times. When the wind blows and you are tempted to sin, you need Christ to steady you, and Christ will steady you if you pray. Prayer is very important for you. If you want to save your soul, and you do want to save your soul, don't ever break that string that ties you to Christ. Pray, pray. End of chapter 22.